everybody, and welcome to this video on factorizing. In this video, we're having a look at factorizing trinomials part 2. Now, in this one here, we're having a look at when there is a coefficient for x. So here, your coefficient of x squared is no longer 1, it is something else. Now, what we're going to do is follow a set of rules or a procedure, which is trial and error, which means that sometimes we get it right and we have to continue until we get the solution, and then we would be able to get our solution. So first of all, the first step of our trial and error is to write down the factors of the first term. So the first term is this 2x squared. So we're going to write down the factors. So how would we get 2x squared? Is we'd say 2x times x. That's how we get 2x squared. Then the next step is to write down the factors of the last term. So the factors of the last term is 3. So it's a prime number, so it's 1 and 3. So that's the factors of the last term. So step 1 is to write down factors of the first term. Step 2 is to write down factors of the last term. Step 3 is to cross multiply. So 1 times x is x. 2 times 3 is 6x. Then we ask ourselves, by adding or subtracting, can we get the middle term? Now the middle term is 5x, and we could say minus, positive 6x minus x, and then what we're going to get is 5x. So then whatever the sign is, we need to just check that it is correct. So we want a positive 3. Oh wait, so then this sign over here, we take it over there. So the sign becomes negative and the sign here becomes positive. Then we just check our last term, minus 1 times positive 3. Does it give us a positive answer? No, it gives us a negative answer. So these are not the factors. Okay. Why are these not the factors? Because we want a positive 3. So we needed the same signs over here and we have different signs. So this is what we mean, that it's trial and error. So we try another method. So then what we can do is, because 2 and 1 and 3 are prime numbers, we can only swap them around. So I'm going to leave the 2x and x, the factors of the first term as is, and I'm going to swap around the 3. So I'm going to write 3 and 1 this time. Okay, don't swap around both, because then you'll end up with the same thing you started with. Then we cross multiply. So that is 3x and that is 2x. And once again, we're looking for our middle term, which is 5x. How do we get 5x? By saying plus 2 plus 3. So the plus goes there and the plus goes there. And this time these factors work because we're looking for positive 3 and we have a positive times a positive. So that will. So that means our factors therefore are 2x plus 3. So 2x plus 3, and our other one is x plus 1. Okay, so that is how we get our factors. Please note that there are many ways to factorize a trinomial, and this is just one of the many ways. If you feel comfortable using another method, please feel free to use it as long as it works every single time. So just to go over this is that now when we do our check, we have positive 1 times positive 3, which gives us positive 3. So always have that little check. So step 1 is to write down the factors of the first term. Step 2 is to write down the factors of the last term. Step 3 is to cross multiply. Then we see if we can add or subtract those terms to get the middle term. And then we do the check. So I hope you've understood the process and why these are not the factors, but these ones are. Okay, so let us go and do some exercises. Please pause the video and attempt it by yourself before having go through together. So let's start with the first one. We have 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. So the first thing is we're going to want to put the factors of the first term, which is 2x and x. Then we want to put the factors of the last term, which is 5, which is 1 and 5. Our next step is to cross multiply. So this here is x 2 times 5 is 10x. And can we get a minus 7? No. So these aren't the factors. What we can do is try swapping it around. So again, I'm going to leave 2x and x the same. And I'm going to swap around the 5. So I'm going to write 5 and 1. Then I'm going to cross multiply. So that is 5x. And this here is 2x. And I want to know, can I get minus 7x? Yes, in this case I can. I can say minus 2 minus 5 will give me minus 7. So that minus goes there and that minus goes there. We're doing our check. A negative times a negative is a positive. So that works out fine. So our answer over here is 2x minus 5 times x minus 1. And then once again, just do your check. A negative 5 times a negative 1 is a positive 5. So that's our factors. Let's have a look at the next one. 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. So once again, we're going to write down the factors of our first term, which is 3x squared. So it's 3x times x. Then we're going to write down our factors of our last term, which is 5. So I'm going to write 1 and 5. So then what we're going to do next is cross multiply. That gives us x, and that gives us 15x. Can we get minus 14x? Yes, by saying minus 15 plus 1x. So then the sign over there is plus and the sign over there is minus. Just double check. A positive times a negative gives us a negative. So those factors work out. So therefore this is 3x plus 1 times x minus 5. Finally, do your check. Always do your check. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5. So that works out. So our check is just multiplying the last term in each bracket and see that we get the last term of the trinomial. Let's do the last one. So in the previous one, though, we were lucky we got the factors on the first time, and sometimes you're lucky. Sometimes you're not, and you have to do it work through a few factors. So it's all about luck with trial and error methods. Okay, so then we've got this. So we want the factors of 3x, which is 3x times x. And then we're looking for the factors of 7. So let's say 7 times 1. The next step is to cross multiply. So that's 7x. And this here is 3x. And what we would want is a positive 10x. How do we get that? By a positive 3 and a positive 7. So this here is positive, and that is positive. So checking a positive times a positive is positive, so that's right. So then our answer is 3x plus 7 times x plus 1. Finally, our check, 7 times 1 is positive 7. Good. So I hope you've understood this and it was very clear. If not, please watch our previous video on trinomials before attempting this one again.